Welcome to another episode of the More Than a Game podcast, Olympic edition. And once again, joining me on the podcast to unpack and discuss the Boomers' road to the 2024 Paris Olympic Games is Australian Boomers guard DJ Vasiljevic. Welcome back, mate. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me again. Look forward to breaking down two more games.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And a bit of an Olympics preview as well, which is exciting, not just around the corner. Well, let's dive into the first two games that we've seen, the games against the French team and also Puerto Rico. So another two wins for the Boomers, which was great. I confess I didn't watch the Puerto Rico game, so it's over to you on that one. But the French game was very exciting, to say the least. Dyson Daniels winning on the buzzer. Let's go to the Puerto Rico game first of all. How did you see that one? And obviously a bit of a comfortable win in the end.
Yeah, I think it was. I reckon they should have just practiced between them instead of playing this game. I think Puerto Rico will be one of the least competitive teams at the Olympics, in my opinion. Obviously, South Sudan looks pretty good taking it to the Americans, only losing by one. So, I'm really shocked by South Sudan, but a lot of players play in the NBL, so they've got a lot of heart and pride. And I think when Gabriel talked about them all being refugees coming together and not even having an indoor court to practice in. So, being stuff like that. But back to Puerto Rico, honestly, the Boomers should just practice between themselves. It looked easy from the get-go. Only a 15-point win, but I do think they should have won by a lot more. Again, when you're up by so much, you let foot off the pedal, and they allowed Puerto Ricans to come back. My takeaways from the game, obviously, the Australians just play up the floor. You see it, first free throws of the game, I think it was 30 seconds in, and bang, they're straight up the floor, picking it up full court, making it hard for the Puerto Rican guards. They went to a few different plays with Giddy catching it at the elbow and kind of playing off that. Obviously, having a big like Jock, if someone curls around and the big decides to help on that, he can pick and pop. We saw Will Magnay being the first big off the bench again, like we talk about, but we did also see Duop play 11 minutes.
Yes.
We saw a bit of Joe Ingles early on. We saw him in the first quarter playing the four, which was very surprising. I think gorgeous. It was a great game to play around with lineups, play around with different positioning.
Yeah.
And then we saw Jack McVeigh playing in the four spot in the second quarter when predominantly he's been playing in the three. So gorgeous mixing, things up as these games go along, but he's not throwing all his cards out there, I can tell. So I think Australia will go in there full of confidence, obviously beating Puerto Rico and, taking it to France. But, Dante Exum had a head collision, so that was kind of a big scare. Obviously cleared of any concussion or any further damage, which was good. But other than that, man, it's just there's not much to say. The Australians went out there, took care of business. Player movement looked great on offense. Paddy was a plus 29. Ball was moving, 30 assists, still 15 turnovers. I think that is still a bit too much. I think if we can keep it around the 8 to 10 mark, especially in the group stage against these great teams, I think we have a really good chance to, in my opinion, obviously it is the pool of death, but watching these games, I think they have a good chance to finish either first or second. So I look forward to see, when the time comes, and what are we in? Today's Tuesday, when they play Friday. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate. We'll get to that. We'll go and jump ahead. But let's dive into the French game because I saw bits and pieces of that. And I think for me, Dyson Daniels was a standout in many ways. He just, for me, justified his selection in many ways. 5 steals, 5 assists, had that game-winning shot. He's great coming off the bench. But again, Josh Giddey with a great performance in both games, actually, from what I saw. 20 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds in the French game. And then Patty Mills, again, just showed his quality, proved his doubters wrong. Game high 24 points. For the French team, we saw Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama. They were starring for the French team. But you mentioned Dante Exum as well going down. He's got a dislocated finger. All reports suggest that he will play at the Olympics, but it's a bit of a scare for the Boomers. But how did you see this game?
Yeah, I think this was the game to watch. Obviously, just how you would match up with a big like Gobert. How would you match up with, Wembanyama? How would you match up with Evan Fournier? And obviously their quick guards that France have. And as you mentioned, Dyson solidified himself why he's actually selected. And this is what I say. I think a lot of people go, Matisse this, Matisse that. I now understand why Dyson was selected.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Dyson brings the same defensive versatility as Matisse does, but he also brings more on the offensive end, which the Australians need. Obviously, he was making threes to start the game. Obviously, having layups, just creating for himself. Like I remember, I think it was the third quarter. He drove left spin move, being able to stop off a spin and floating it and making it. Like he's being another offensive threat behind Josh and Paddy, which is what Australia needs. So he's definitely solidified, and I think he'll be a very impactful player in the Olympics. Obviously, with the 5 steals and 5 assists as well.
Yeah, 100%. What were your takeaways, your key takeaways from those 2 games, or actually the whole warm up, all of the warm up games? What was your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, I think just obviously just concluding with France, just Australia's identified themselves. They want to be a defensive team. In that third quarter, they outscored France 19-13, held them scoreless for the last 4 minutes and 10 seconds, I believe. So they want to be that defensive-minded team, and then off those misses, rebound and run. I think that's the best way you're going to tire out these teams, especially European type teams, because they love to play in the half court. They don't want to play a fast game. Now, we want to play fast, but so do the Canadians. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes about. Obviously, I think individual scout with Shea, with Jamal Murray, and obviously their bigs, that'll be another big key. But I actually look forward to seeing what's going to happen. I think Canada will definitely be the hardest game, but we don't play until Tuesday. So plenty of time to kind of get ready for Spain and take care of business there first. And just getting all the pre-Olympic jitters out the way, first game, for first Olympics, sorry, for Jack and Magne. So get them out there first quarter, let them feel it, feel out the game. And then once the tournament goes along, I think Australia has a really good chance to medal, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. We'll get into the preview just before we do that. Just looking at the game from over the course of the few games I have played, you've been part of the program for some time now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I did see, I feel, a few offensive sets that I've never seen before. Do you feel that's been put in place for this campaign?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, in camp, we were introducing little things, but we wanted to keep that close to our chest. We didn't do anything against China. I think each game was something different. Obviously, against Puerto Rico, we saw Josh playing at the top, catching it from the elbow, playing off of it. We saw a few UCLA cuts into an on ball and, different end lines and stuff. So I think Gore just keeping his cards close to his chest, but he's slowly introducing it as time goes on because just say you get out of the pool, now you get to the quarters, it's all business. Like we got to present everything we got to the table. So everyone's clicking, everyone's gelling. I got good vibes just watching. So I bet there's even more greater vibes in the group. So I look forward to, letting them kick off Friday against Spain. So, and it's a good game.
Yeah.
At a reasonable time so I can watch it.
100%, mate. You're making me excited just talking about it. Let's get into that game, 27th of July against Spain. It's no easy one to start off with, but I guess for me, if you're going to win a gold medal, you've got to knock off the best, and Spain are going to be one of those once again. So much experience once again, led by veteran Rudy Fernandez. I still can't believe he's playing. I think he's like 39 years old or whatever. It's unbelievable. Been around for some time, but how do you feel we match up against the Spanish team, and who will be the key matchups for us?
Yeah, obviously they got the Hernan Gomez brothers. Obviously Willie, he's going to be a tough one down low. So we'll see how Jock fares against someone like that. We didn't see Jock in the second half against France. So Will Magne and Dua played a lot of great minutes. Being able to bang bodies. So I think those guys will be important for us. Obviously, Rudy Fernandez being there. I think this is his 6th Olympics. Don't get me, I might be wrong here, but I think it's his 6th. So just a veteran guy like that to be out there. But yeah, I think it's Lorenzo Brown, the point guard that Spain have. I think he's the key to being shut down. So I think Dyson will get the job on him. Josh Green, who was a lead against France, will kind of heckle him a bit. So Australia's got a lot of defensive bodies to throw at him to kind of change up. So we'll see how Spain fare against our defense, but also how good they fare playing fast with Australia's tempo.
Yeah, massive big test first up, but looking forward to seeing how they fare. Need to get an early win. So 2nd of August, 30th of July 1st, we play the Canadian team, Canada. So many NBA stars in this team. I feel like it's the best Canadian team I've ever seen. Dwight Powell from Dallas, RJ Barrett from Toronto, Dylan Brooks from Houston, Jamal Murray from Denver. I mean, they looked good against Team USA. Didn't get the win, but they had some good moments. How do you feel we'll match up against them?
I think this is going to be a very, very fast game.
Right.
Like, I think there'll be plenty of possessions being played. I think Australia just can't allow it to turn into an ISO ball type of game. So obviously, I don't know the type of style Canada play because I haven't watched it, but I bet they'll play more of like the American. If you've got you go to work, someone else go to work. You just can't get involved in that because that plays into their hands too easily. If we can continue to move the ball, if we can't run, then we continue to move the ball offensively, tire them out because moving the ball from one side then to the other, defense starts to spread, and you find the opening. So just stuff like that. I think we've got to keep them off the offensive glass. Too many O boards in the France game, so we'll see how they fare against the Canadians. But again, being the toughest, this will be the toughest game, and if they can come out on top, or even if they lose, but they lose very close, I think it's in great. They'll be in great spirits moving forward against Greece.
Yeah, 100%. That's the big one. I kind of wish we were playing these guys first up just to get the nerves out of the way, as you said. But 2nd of August against the Greek team, still loaded with stars, Giannis and brother Costas in that team. Experienced side once again. I feel like we should win this pretty well, but can't take any team for granted at this level. So how do you feel we match up against Greece?
Yeah, just you talk about it. You can't take any team lightly, especially not in the Olympics. They're the 12 best teams in the world for a reason. Obviously, you have one of the best players in the world in Giannis. So it'll be interesting to see who gets the matchup on that. I think Nick Kay will get the start on him because he does a bit of everything. He's kind of the dog in the group who's willing to sacrifice his body, and obviously a couple fouls. We'll see how things play out. Obviously, Greece has a lot of great guards. Obviously, they shoot the ball pretty well. So stopping Giannis from going coast to coast and whatnot, and then just stopping the shooting of Greece will be the key ones. And we just got to continue what we do offensively. That's really it. Just share the ball. I think we averaged maybe close to 20 to 25 assists in these exhibition games. So the ball's moving, it's popping. We're not seeing a lot of ISO ball like we did from Paddy's. So it's good to see Josh is getting that 8-9 assists. I know Jock Landau had 6-7 assists. Paddy's having 5 assists. Dyson's having 5 assists. So the ball's popping.
Yeah.
The movement is great. And then, the ball's flicking through the best I've probably seen in a long time for the Boomers. So full credit to them. And, yeah, man, I look forward to getting this thing rolling and coming back and analysing these games because obviously being part of it, I think I just got the jitters. Hey, man, I feel like I'm out.
You got to say, you probably wish you were out there.
Yeah, I wish I was. But again, those guys they took, I think they can do something special. And, I think they can go one step further than a bronze medal, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that gives me confidence when I hear you say that is the coach, Brian Goorjian. I wanted to hold off on talking about him to this episode and just wanted to give our listeners insight into his mind because he's 71 years of age now, still such an amazing coach. Every person or player I've had on the podcast, whether it's been a coach or a player, the common denominator has been Brian Goorjian, and they've all been raving about him. So you've had time under him now in the Boomers setup. What makes him so great for you, and how did you find being under his coaching?
No, obviously, my first time being coached by him was in February when we went to the Asia Cup qualifiers. We played Korea and we played Indonesia.
Yeah.
And I think we were in a timeout one time and he told me, hey, man, it's your fucking time to go. So, I wasn't shooting the ball great, but he knew the fourth quarter was here and he put me at the point. So he trusted me and he saw what I could do in the NBL level. And then when I came into camp, the role changes. Obviously, you've got Josh, you've got Dyson, you've got Delhi who play the point. They're just coming in, defending my ass off and then making shots. So he actually tells you what you need to do and he instills it in you. But again, he'll give you the feedback he needs. He's a great coach for a reason. That's why I think I got a lot of belief that he'll take this Australia group to another level this Olympics. And he's got a great bunch of young guys, obviously the vets with Paddy and Joe. And then you've got Nick Kay, Jock, but then you've got great young guys and Josh Green, Dyson, Giddy. So, man, I look forward to he's a great-minded coach. Obviously, then you've got Adam Capeborn, who's now at the Washington Wizards.
Yep.
Then you've got Matt Nielsen, who's with the Spurs. You've got DP, who's going back to his alma mater in LSU. And Jacob Chance, who's a well-renowned coach here in the NBL. So I trust the coaching staff alongside Gorge and the players man, I think this will be a very special Olympics. We talk about gold vibes and the gold standard. I think that's what they're going for.
Mate, we'll finish on that note. That's awesome. Kicks off, as we said, 27th of July against Spain. Opening ceremony on the 26th of July. looking forward to unpacking those games with you later on, mate. Thanks again, DJ Vasiljevic, for joining us on the More Than a Game podcast.
Thanks, mate.